Hi there, welcome back to the Art of Business English, where we help people like you get the language skills that you need to perform successfully in any business English speaking environment. Andrew Ambrosius for episode 138, and today I'm going to be sharing with you in this mini episode some expressions for helping you describe anger. So when you're really angry or in a bad mood, or something has happened, or one of your colleagues is angry, or your boss is angry, these expressions you can use to describe this anger. So let's dive right in now and take a look at these expressions. So the first one, let's start simple. The first one on my list today is mad at. So generally, we use to be. So I am mad at, and you're mad at someone. So it basically means to be angry at a person or a situation. Let me give you an example sentence to help you put it into context then. So the boss is very mad at the team because they completely forgot to attend the quarterly meeting and went to the pub instead. So you can imagine you're angry, your boss is mad at the team because they just went to the pub instead of coming to the meeting, which is not really cool. Okay, let's look at the next one. And this is what happens when you get really angry. You can lose it. So lose it. So lose is, I've lost something. Where are my keys? But when you lose it, it basically means that you have gone insane or crazy. So often people lose it after a long period of patience, or something that's happened to them, or a situation that's evolved and developed, and after a certain amount of time, they've tried to be patient, and then boom, they lose it. So let me give you an example. I lost it when I found out that we had lost the contract to our competitors. So you flew into a rage. You went crazy and got really angry because your company lost the contract. Okay, so that could be something to cause anger. All right, let's look at the next one, and that's a fit of anger. So a fit of anger, and this basically means to display a bad temper, often by screaming a lot. Okay, so not really productive in any environment. Remember, expressing anger is not really productive or a great communication skill. Especially if you're shouting at your colleagues or your employees. So you need to be careful. But hey, these expressions can help you describe that situation. So fit of anger. Let me give you an example. When someone stole her parking space, she drove off in a fit of anger. So to drive off in a fit of anger probably means the person's like waving their arm going, "Rah!" Sometimes people get really angry when someone steals their parking spot. So yeah, that could be a situation to cause you to, have a fit of anger. All right, another thing to note is, how to put them correctly. Some of them have collocations after them, some of them have prepositions after them, and some only collocate with specific verbs. So just be aware of that when you try to use them. Another one is in a huff. So in a huff, and that's H-U-F-F, so in a huff. And if you're in a huff, it means that you're upset or angry about something. So, it's when you do this, So that's to huff a bit, okay? So if someone's in a huff, they're like this, they're going around the office with a very dark look on their face. So you want to stay away from that person. Right, let me give an example sentence. My boss left in a huff this morning after having an argument with the team. So my boss left in a huff this morning after having an argument with the team. So the boss left like this, in a very bad, dark mood. And you can see the verbs, left in a huff, okay? So make sure you put them together correctly when you use them. Right. So someone can be, in a bad mood or in a huff, okay? So these are ways you can look at it. Right, let's look at the next one, which is cry over spilt milk. Okay, so cry over spilt milk. And, if you spill milk, that's an expression, you cry. Don't cry over spilt milk is the expression. So this means to be upset about something that has already happened. So you can't change the outcome. So many people say, don't cry over spilt milk, meaning, there's nothing you can do about it now, so don't worry about it. Okay? So let me give an example. It is okay if you don't get the promotion. There is no use crying over spilt milk. So there is no use crying over spilt milk, meaning it's a pointless exercise. You can't really do much to change it, so don't worry about it. Okay? All right, let's continue with the list here. It's called to bite someone's head off. So bite someone's head off doesn't sound very good, does it? It sounds like you're going to literally kill someone, because if you remove their head, they'll no longer be living. So let me give you the meaning for to bite off someone's head, or to bite someone's head off. You can change the order. It basically means that you respond angrily or rudely to someone for no real apparent reason. So this will happen when the person is maybe angry about something that's happened to them, and it's put them in a bad mood. And then you unbeknowingly ask them something that triggers them to, react really abruptly and aggressively towards you. And it can be quite shocking for you because you don't understand what's going on. You're like, whoa, I just asked you the time. Why are you shouting at me? So let me give you an example. I was just asking how the sales meeting went. There's no need to bite my head off. So in this situation, it's possible that the person, you ask the person, so how was the sales meeting? And it's possible that the person had a terrible time in that meeting. So the fact that you asked them about this has caused them, to react really aggressively and negatively and get angry at you because, of something that happened in that meeting, whereas you didn't realize it at the time. Okay, so that's to bite someone's head off. The next one is to blow your top. Now, blow your top is like to explode, basically, and it's to lose your temper. And think of this pot that we put on the kitchen sink that we can, like a pressure cooker. We can close the top, and inside everything's boiling away. And there's an incredible amount of pressure in this pot on the stove when you're cooking. So if the stove blows its top, then there's a massive explosion because the pressure is released. And we use this in a metaphorical way to refer to other people. When they're angry, they can blow their top, which means that they lose their temper, they scream, they shout, they get very angry. So let me give you an example. I blew my top after the children broke my grandmother's clock. Okay, so we often get angry at our children, or we can blow our top with our children. So in this case, the children have broken a very important family heirloom, which is your grandmother's clock, and your reaction is explosive and very angry. Okay, right, let's look at the next one, which is to have a bone to pick with someone. So to have a bone to pick with someone. Now, I remember when my mother said this to me, I got worried. So if my mother said to me, Andrew, I've got a bone to pick with you, you were like, oh dear, what have I done wrong? So when someone has a bone to pick with you, it means they want to talk to you about something that they're not very happy about. Okay, so basically it's not a good situation, and it makes you feel really worried because often you're not actually sure what the problem is. Okay, so this can cause you to start feeling very nervous because you're like, what have I done? What happened? So let me give you an example. I have a bone to pick with you. I did not like what you said about me in the meeting. Okay, so, this meeting, someone said something about you in front of your colleagues that you did not appreciate. So instead of, talking to the person in that very meeting at that very moment, you hold your tongue, which means you keep quiet. But then later you tell the person that you have a bone to pick with them, which means you want to discuss something that happened that you're not very happy about. Okay, now the next one on my list is great. And again, I've heard my mother or my father use this a lot when I was a child. So it's said very like in almost like a desperate voice. It's for crying out loud. Okay, so for crying out loud. So, crying is when you're sad. And out loud means you do it in a very loud voice. So it's an expression to mean that you want to emphasize the fact that you're impatient or annoyed. So think of that time when you need to take your kids to school and, they are going slow and you need to get them there because you're already running late, and then you drive them to school, you're almost there, and one of your children says, "Oops, I left my bag at home." In this situation, your reaction could be, "For crying out loud," meaning, "I cannot believe this. This is the last straw. This is the last thing I need right now." So that's how we use the expression "for crying out loud." So let me give you an example. "Oh, for crying out loud, hurry up. Our plane is leaving in less than an hour." So you use this expression when you're frustrated, you're impatient, and you want people to hurry up, or you're a bit desperate about the situation because people don't seem to be reacting. Okay, so that's a nice expression to use. And if you do use it, people will know that you're not very happy and you're not feeling very confident about the situation. Okay, let's look at the last one, and that is to drive someone up the wall. So this is also a great expression, and I have heard it on various occasions from my mother, who was used to always or often get angry at me for certain childish behavior. So to drive someone up the wall, so to drive someone up the wall, not related to driving a car, but just an expression. So to drive someone up the wall basically means to make someone very irritated or angry. And I was good at that as a child. So let me give an example. "He just talked about himself for the whole evening. He was driving me up the wall." Okay, so if someone is at dinner with you and all they do is talk about themselves, and this can be a situation that irritates you and drives you up the wall. So there you have it. Some really, really common expressions that we use. So quite idiomatic expressions here. So unless you've heard them before or you understand their meaning, it's going to be very difficult to know what someone means when they use them. So you really need to study these. So take some notes from this episode, listen carefully, or go back and listen to it again. And if you do want to have the list, the complete list, and the definitions, the meaning, if you're listening to this podcast or checking out the YouTube video, then head over to the Art of Business English website and look at the blog post, because all of the information is there on the blog post, and you can just take some notes and have the list there easily accessible for you. So that's really it for me. Those are about 10 expressions, I believe, to express anger and help you describe anger or frustration or irritation or impatience in certain situations. Before I go, just wanted to remind you that shouting at your colleagues and shouting at your employees is not the most productive way to communicate. We're all about effective communication here at the Art of Business English. But sometimes it's nice to have an expression that you can use to describe this frustration that sometimes we experience in the workplace. So that's it from me, people. I hope you're enjoying the Art of Business English this year, and I hope you're getting a lot of value from all the content. If you are, then please head over to iTunes or Spotify or Stitcher or anywhere where you're listening to the Art of Business English podcast, and drop me a 5-star rating. I'd really appreciate it. If you're watching the YouTube channel, then click subscribe and like the video. That would be awesome. It would help me a lot, and it would help me to reach other people. Share it with your friends or family. This is a free podcast to help you learn and improve your business English. And of course, if you do want to take your English to the next level, then check out all of the courses we offer over at the Art of Business English and our coaching programs, etc., etc. There's a wealth of stuff there for you, and a lot of it's free and a lot of it is very reasonably priced, and you get an extremely amazing amount of value out of it there. So that's it from me. I'll see you all next week on the Art of Business English, where I've actually got an interesting interview with Brendan from Master Talk, who is coming in from Montreal. So he's going to teach us some tips on presenting in a foreign language. So I'll see you all next week on the Art of Business English. Take care. Bye for now.